All right, good Saturday morning to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for tuning in today, Lions Talk Live. You know what? We're getting a little bit closer and closer. It is June. It is the start of the new month, and you know what? We all know what happens next month. That's right, training camp and everything in between. The season really gets moving in earnest as we start preparing for the 2024/25 season. With that being said, we got some news coming out of the end of OTAs. A couple different players of note, some people that turned some heads, raised some eyebrows, and all things in between. We heard about some rookies that are doing better than expected. Some veterans who had to sit for rest. Some guys are still recovering from injuries. But whenever somebody sits down because of whatever reason, whether it may be injuries, personal reasons, whatever, it gives somebody else an opportunity to shine. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and talk about a couple of different people in today's episode of Lions Talk Live. Also, just so you guys know, we're only going to be able to go on for about a half hour today. I got to make a pretty long drive today to be at an appointment down in Edwardsburg, Michigan. So I got to make sure I get all ready and set for that. So I'm just going to have to cut into a little Lions Talk Live time. Apologies about that, but hey, work happens. All right, real quick, before we get into the show, you guys know the drill. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get to 6,800 subs. If you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you enjoy the video and the content within, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button. So as you guys probably are definitely aware, if you're a YouTuber, helps the channel out, helps the video get out to more and more people who don't know anything about Lions Talk Live or whatever. So if you could take just a quick second of time and hit that thumbs up button. Last but never least is the fact that I am a realtor when I am not coaching and when I am not YouTubing. I am a realtor, and if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the state of Michigan, can be any type of property, vacant land, commercial property. I mean, you get the gist. A new home for you. You want to sell your home. You want to sell your mother's home. I don't care as long as she's okay with it. Give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Give me a call and let's see what we can do to help save you some money and make the process of buying or selling property a whole lot easier. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's talk about it. We got a little bit of a stock watch and see what you guys have to say about it in this abbreviated edition of Lions Talk Live. So we'll try not to waste too much time here and just get into it. So I think we all know that Terrion Arnold was drafted to come in and be the guy here in Detroit as far as the secondary. Now, whether or not he's the number 1 or 2 cornerback, we're going to have to wait and see. But there are a lot of reports coming out of Detroit last week and this week that he showed steady improvement in virtually every day in OTAs. And that, as a coach, that's what I would say you want to see. You don't have to see massive jumps up nor spikes down, but if you can just see steady improvement, it sounds like that's the way what people are reporting out of Detroit when it comes to Arnold and his abilities to cover different receivers from hanging on to Jameson Williams to ripping the ball out of Williams' hands and matching up with St. Brown. Sounds like he even got matched up with Sam Laporta at times. Just various different people, not always just the big stars, but other people as well, some other rookies. And to his credit, he did very well from all accounts. Now, the Alabama product here's one of the more interesting things. He's starting to pop up on a lot of different lists. Betting, most of you guys are going to know more about this than I do, but different people that place wagers or whatever, or lines on people to become offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, just flat out rookie of the year, whatever it is. Arnold, you're starting to see his name mentioned more and more as a potential defensive rookie of the year candidate. Some of that, I'm guessing, is just, the hype train or whatever. He's considered either the best or one of the best young rookie cornerbacks to enter the NFL. But what he's done in OTAs has added to that. And you can see where his numbers or his the betting line on him has risen as more and more people across the league and those in control of the betting organizations feel like he is a legitimate shot at defensive rookie of the year. So we're going to want to pay attention to him. Doesn't mean he's going to be DB number 1 or 2 or whatever, but chances are he's going to be a starter probably sooner versus later for the Detroit Lions. Then the question will become, where in the lineup will he be? Will he be the number 1, 2, 3, etc.? So we'll have to wait and see. Now, another person who impressed, I guess you could say stock up, is Khalif Raymond. We all have been wondering who's going to be the third wide receiver for the Detroit Lions this year. We've debated Donovan Peoples-Jones. We debated Antoine Green. and we probably, to some degree, a large portion of the fan base has overlooked Khalif Raymond. While the wide receivers surrounded himself with some pretty good work during his time here in Detroit, it does sound like he came into this particular OTAs or this season and said, hey, this is a real opportunity for me to rise in the ranks of the team, put forth an effort to help improve the team, the chances, and to make it to the playoffs. And then obviously the team's point or goal at that point is to make the Super Bowl. But he seems to have come in, quote, a little different. However, figures it to be a part of a reliable Detroit Lions offense. Raymond has looked noticeably bulked up and seems to be on a bit of a mission. The veteran pass catcher has a solid day at Thursday's open practice to reporters. Not all portions of the practice are open to reporters. Additionally, another player to keep an eye on is Darian Fountain, who looked good with Hendon Hooker at Thursday's session. So 2 wide receivers to pay attention to, but it does sound like Khalif Raymond understands this is an opportunity for him to get a lot more snaps if he puts forth solid effort this year and produces. So he's in a battle with Donovan Peoples-Jones for sure, but Khalif Raymond might be a little bit higher on the depth chart list than any of us anticipated. Another person I want to talk about, and I'm probably going to murder the last name, so I apologize here, but Mitchell Agude. I know him a little bit in his story, in case you're unaware of his story, just because, being a USC fan, UCLA, man, that is our Michigan State. That's, Michigan State as far as California goes. But in any rate, Goudet, he's got a lot of extra reps, I should say, because James Houston had to sit out Thursday's practice. Just some precautionary measures, try to give him some extra rest, etc., as he's still trying to recover. But with Houston gone, Mitchell came in and apparently did very well in practice, using a lot of the same spots and situations that Houston would go through. He went through well and got to the quarterback, had a lot of what would be sacks if they were allowing the defensive players to actually hit the quarterbacks. So limited results, but very positive results for him. If you are unaware of his story, when he was 9 years old, and I think just about everybody, again, who's knows the conference that UCLA and USC is in, knows the story because it was featured with his senior year in college sports, just how well he did and performed. He became, I want to say, maybe ESPN and probably other people did stories on him. But when he was 9 years old, he was at a skating park, fell, hit his head. He got rushed to the hospital. He had a traumatic brain injury. Doctors told his parents, I'm sure this is something no parent ever wants to hear, that they thought in a nutshell that he would never recover. He would be a vegetable the rest of his life if he did awake from the coma he was in. But then a miracle happened. 3 days later, he awoke on his own recognizance. A couple hours after that, and I'm trying to remember some of this stuff, but a couple hours after that, they took the breathing tube from him. And 3 days after that, he was out of the hospital. So make of it as you want, but 333 came into play there. And then the doctors told his parents that he should probably not play any contact or physical sports for 3 years. So for whatever it was, the number 3 kept popping up in his story, and it became a centerpiece of a lot of different things. And now he's got an opportunity to make an NFL roster. Good for him and all the stories around him. So just real good stuff. And if you want, I'm sure you can Google it, come up with the story, but then they'll probably do a lot more justice to it than what I did. Levi Onwuzurike is another person who apparently stocked up in the Lions OTAs. We talked about last year, even though he was on limited snaps, he had a heck of a season from a statistical standpoint as far as where he ranked on the team in different categories. But again, limited snaps. He's in the 3rd year of that back recovery, and that's where I'm being told, and a lot of people in this chat have told me who have gone through a similar procedure, that it really does take some time for the back to kind of adjust itself. If that's all true, with what we're seeing with the revamped Lions secondary, helping out with allowing people like Onwuzurike to get to the quarterback more, this could be a make or break year for him in training camp. And he's probably definitely aware of it. This could be that for his NFL career if he doesn't come through and shine. We talked often on this channel that people, the NFL players, really only have about a 3-year window, maybe 4 if you're lucky, and then most careers come to an end. Onwuzurike has had an impact on the field when he's been able to go, but again, it's been on limited snaps. That's why we probably don't give him enough just due for it. With that also being said, the second round pick of the Detroit Lions in 2021 understands he needs to come in this season and have a strong training camp, probably just to make the roster. If he can make the roster, then maybe he gets one more year in the NFL to prove himself and try to prove that back is no longer an issue. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Again, I'm going to try to power through this one today just because this is going to be a little bit shorter camp. Kendall Vildor is also somebody trying to make the roster, and I almost forgot to mention him. Reports are that he has had a pretty good 2-week period in OTAs. I got to imagine if you're one of the guys on the DB depth chart who's not Terrion Arnold or Davis Jr. or Robertson or Rakestraw, that you're probably doing everything you can to earn that roster spot, because we all get it. There's a lot of depth there, and not everybody's going to make it to the 53-man roster. All right, JDC, good morning all. Good morning, JDC. How you doing? All right, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, exclamation point. Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Just for you, my friend, just for you, we'll do a little woo, woo, woo. I always enjoy that, man. I always enjoy it more than I probably should. All right, Big Eddie, good morning. Woo, crew. I like that. The woo crew. There we are. Clark, greetings and salutations all. Coach, I'm hearing your boy Houston sat out a bit this week. Any updates on him? I know they were rotating a lot of guys in and out of the field through last week and this week. And some of them, Brian Branch, he's going to wait until basically training camp or maybe even preseason games before he gets going. Houston, I think they're just being precautious with him. Probably a little bit with Levi Onwuzurike too. There's a number of guys that if they don't have to really make him go right now, they're going to be limited or none at all with them just to try to protect him. Those recovering from injuries, they're going to try to nurse him along. So I wouldn't overly be concerned with it, but definitely want to pay some attention to it. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Who is losing the most in OTAs so far? That's a good question. Question mark. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And 100%. Who's losing the most? That's a tough question to answer because, man, I'm just not sure. I would say, all right, fine. Since we were just talking about probably James Houston, the more time he's off the field, I think the less opportunity he does have to get on the field and do some things. I want to thank my brother Tim, who sent this to me the other day. I know we were talking about Matthew Betts, but I know Matthew Betts, thanks to my brother Tim, he's had a pretty good OTAs. I guess I missed it when some of the reporters did talk about him, but he's had multiple different times where he beat offensive linemen and got to the quarterback and would have got a quote-unquote sack if it was a real game. So good for Matthew Betts, bad for James Houston. We'll have to see, I guess, what actually happens when preseason games get going, if anybody is still going to be a little limited, monitored, or whatever. But my anticipation is Brian Branch, James Houston, Levi Onwuzurike, and there's other guys for sure, but they're probably going to be a go by the time August hits. Brent, good morning, everyone. Lions Talk Live. Oh, yeah. Well, good morning to you too, Brent, and hopefully having a do one. Jesse, what up, Duke Crew? Question mark. Anyone else read Arnold as a possible Rookie of the Year frontrunner? Yes, I did read that. I did see that, and good for him, man. I do think, and I know we've all talked about it, because the style of defense we're going to run this season, I think there's a strong opportunity for some of the rookies that we have on defense, mostly Rakestraw and Arnold, to really pop off the page and have some real sound stats, because I think the opportunity to make a play on a ball is going to be there more than perhaps with other defenses. Now, it doesn't mean he's either one of them or Arnold is going to lead the league in interceptions. If he does it, great. But I do think there's some possibility for him to come up with, say, 2 or 3, maybe 4 interceptions this season. Probably have a pretty good tackle count, pass breakup count, snap count. So all those things will go into factor. Now, if he can actually, make some plays that are unscripted or whatever, off script, I guess you could say, now he's going to even further help himself out. And if they use him in any kind of blitzing situations where he gets some opportunities for sacks, that's also going to help his Rookie of the Year frontrunner candidacy. Yes. Frank the Tank, good morning to all. Woo! Go Lions, 100% to you, Frank, and thank you for always being part of the show. Franz, good evening, all. I'm reading a lot of articles saying Martin has McNeil and Reeder helping him out, teaching him the game more. How's Martin looking? I've heard a lot about that Ali McNeil and DJ Reeder have been trying to spend some time with him to try to help him grow and mature faster. It sounds like he feels like he's improved exponentially. You hear some of the stuff from the coaching staff saying, yes, they see some of his techniques are really improving. I think we all get he's got all the physical aspects that anybody could want in a defensive lineman, especially an interior defensive lineman. But like we've talked about since, I guess, last season when he was drafted, when you watch him, pre-snap, post-snap and everything, especially the post-snaps, he struggles a ton because he's been so used to, in all of his time in college, just overpowering people. Didn't really need a lot of technique. He just didn't have to pay attention to leverage and things like that. So assuming that's all been cleaned up, or being cleaned up, I should say, it's probably going to be a work in progress for several years to just, teach more technique. But he could be a real plus for this team. I believe he's going to be probably sooner versus later. We've all seen the photos and the videos of him working out, how chiseled he looks, lean, mean, fighting machine or whatever. But I think Martin's probably going to impress a lot of people this season. All right, Frank, go ahead. Frank the Tank. Green Peoples-Jones will be the surprise of the season, but the real surprise everybody's calling it will be J-Mo Go Lions. Yeah, Jameson Williams, you've heard Davis the third, or Carlton Davis the third. You've heard a lot of people talk about it, just how much he's changed. And that's one thing I always try to remind people when it comes to pro athletes. Is a lot of times when they come in, they really are still kids. I mean, they're 20, 21 years old. I don't remember offhand what Jameson was when he was drafted by the Detroit Lions. But think about it now. You're 3 years older. You're living on your own now. You're living as an adult. And if he really is taking his career a lot more serious, which I'm not saying he didn't ever take it serious before, but he's probably understanding he's got some real potential. He's got a chance to really improve his career plus the season for the team. I believe there's a lot of evidence out there that Jameson Williams could have a real quote, and I get this is kind of something everybody's saying, but he could have a real strong breakout season. I believe the Lions will, by the end of the season, be considered one of the best wide receiver cores in the group in the NFL, because Amon-Ra St. Brown's the number one receiver. Jameson Williams might be, by the end of the year, considered a number 1-2 receiver. So the fact the Lions may potentially have two strong number one candidates, I mean, that's great for the team. It's great for the offense. It's going to be great for Sam Laporta in the running game, I can tell you that, because you know what? If you got to spend more and more resources guarding them pre-snap, St. Brown and Jameson Williams, that means he can't put as much up at that line. Otherwise, man, Williams is going to be able to take you deep. All right, Silver, what do you got? Good morning, Coach, and everyone. Back at you, Silver. Hopefully having a great one. Frank the Tank, defense will be Houston and Davenport each 10 sacks. Love it. Go Lions. It could happen, especially if they move some of them around. I know they've talked about moving Houston to linebacker at times, but if we're going to really blitz as much as we've talked about in the show, will it really matter if James Houston's defensive end or linebacker? Probably not. Because his ask or his responsibility is going to be able to use that stunt or that loop or that pull and be an interior offensive lineman or maybe an exterior offensive lineman and simply get to the quarterback. And as we all know, that's something he does very well. All right, Brent Gibbs, Offensive Player of the Year. Hutch, Defensive Player of the Year. MCDC, Coach of the Year. Superdome or bust. Woo! All right, we'll go with that, Brent. And yes, those are all possibilities, to be fair. Gibbs could definitely, especially if he gets more of the snap counts than we're anticipating, he's just so explosive, so shake and bake, so fast, and he can catch the ball. So, yeah, he's got every opportunity to go out there and win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hutchinson, with the style of defense, plus he's going to be in year 3. There's that number again. He could, if he has anything like he did towards the season this upcoming year that he did towards the last 8 games, whatever it was last year, he could really push for it. And MCDC, when we win the Super Bowl, absolutely, he's going to be Coach of the Year. Eddie, hey, haven't seen you in a long time, man. Eddie Long, greetings and salutations. Less than 2 months away from training camp kicking off. I am pumped for this year. Really do think this will be the best season in team history. We can't be stopped, and we won't be stopped. Now, will we lose some games? Sure, 100%. As long as we win the North, get to the playoffs, hey, at that point, your chances are good as anybody else to win the Super Bowl because you know what? Everybody goes back to 0-0 once the playoffs begin. All right, Mike the Marine Gunning. Howdy, Dan, Lions people. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Woo! Everyone has a great weekend. Well, same to you, Mike, and hopefully it is a good one. Susan, good morning, everyone. Super Bowl or bust, exclamation point, and I concur. Silver, as of now, not very optimistic about Martin. I do not see the potential you do. I believe if he doesn't show something and contribute this year, he might be on his way out. I would say this, it's only a year two for him. I mean, you look at Ife Melifonwu, probably a lot of people after his second year were like, I don't know about this guy. Obviously, we all have a different opinion about him now. Same with Derek Barnes. And you can go through the Lions team. I think, not just the Lions, I should say, but the NFL, there's a lot of guys that take a couple seasons to get right and get their feet under them before they get going. So let's see what happens. But all the stuff is there for him to have a good season. We'll have to wait and see because who knows? It could be a kind of meh season or it could be a good season. But I think he's doing everything you could ask him to do to put as much potential towards having a good season out there as possible. So wait and see, Surfer. Wait and see. All right, 70, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Laying in bed listening today. One of these rare days I get to sleep in. We'll enjoy it because you know what? I know some people don't ever get to really do it. So go ahead and enjoy your day. All right, Detroit D, greens, salutations, everyone. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully I'm having a great one. Surfer, what do you got? Just relax and Miss Stephanie, and just know we are better than this. Okay, fair enough. Detroit D, here at work watching my guys do a little backfire filling. All right, well, hey, hopefully having a good work day, my D, and hopefully it's not a long one for you. Hopefully you get to go out and get done with the work day soon. All right, Detroit Lions fan, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. 96 more days until Christmas. I'm assuming you mean the start of the training camp or whatever, or the season, I guess it would be 96. But yes, we are. The countdown is on. All right, Bo, the way the Lions team is showing loyalty to their guys, I doubt they give up on any of their draft picks before the rookie contract is up. Development is key. Yeah, I mean, since Brad Holmes has come in, I'm trying to think. Chase Lucas, is there anybody other than Chase Lucas that they've moved on from once before their contract was done? Gosh, I that's the only one at least that comes to my mind. If you guys know of somebody else, go ahead and throw it in the comments section. All right, Phil, what up, though? What up, though? A deer, a female deer. There we go. Mike the Marine, yesterday I built a turtle nesting enclosure on Marine Corps base camp. Oh boy, I'm going to kill that name. Lejeune, after a turtle laid her eggs inside our work area. It was sweet. Woo! That's pretty cool, Gunny. That's real cool, man. Well, props to you for doing that. All right, Steve, good morning, Coach Dan and my Duke Crew brothers and sisters. I truly believe the Lions are Super Bowl bound. Woo! And I would agree. I don't think there's probably anybody watching the show other than Broski Bear that probably thinks the Lions do not have a shot at the Super Bowl this year. The only thing I would say is, to me, the toughest part is going to be the regular season. And hear me out, because you're going to want the number one seed. And I just think the NFC North is going to be very tough. I could see us losing to anyone in the division. It also means we can beat anyone in the division. I do believe we are still the top team in the division, but we need to be fair here. Green Bay is going to be a threat. Chicago is going to be a threat. Minnesota, we'll wait and see. Although there have been some reports that JJ, is doing pretty well in training camp or OTAs, excuse me. But with that being said, I just think they've got some real holes on the defensive side of the ball that would concern me. Others may disagree with that. But you get through the regular season, you get the number one seed. Now you at least have home field advantage for the playoffs. And the playoffs, like I said earlier, it's a crapshoot. Everybody's record goes back to 0-0. I just think if you can force 3 games or 2, I guess, games it would be at Ford Field, you've got as good advantage as anybody in this league because of the Ford Field advantage is real. We found that out last year. All right, Brent, good job, Gunny, 100%. Quitting, greetings, salutations, y'all. I'm ready for that banner party after this season. we're going to the Super Bowl this season. I got no question on that. All right, fair enough. Yeah, and I think we're all ready for a Super Bowl run. Bo, what kind of turtle, Gunny? All right, Mike or Gunny, smaller to a similar to a box turtle. All right. See, Steve, I really need to see Broderick Martin in a live game to determine if he has improved. He did not look good at all in the Monday Night Raiders game. Yeah, he got pushed around. You could see as soon as the ball snapped, he stood up versus getting leverage on the offensive lineman. And yeah, that got him destroyed. But that's a teachable thing. That's a correctable thing. And I would think you could do that sooner versus some other stuff. So wait and see, Steve. We'll wait and see. All right, speaking of Steve, Captain America, good morning, Coach. Are we really trying to trade for T. Higgins? Boy, if we are, that would catch me off guard. It just doesn't seem like a Brad Holmes type of move. But if you added him to Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs, Montgomery, wow. I mean, that offense would be scary. I don't see it happening, but I've been wrong before. All right, Ogadoo, good morning, Coach, and the Do crew. Woo! Good morning to you, too. Hopefully I'm an outstanding one. Jedi Sith, make it a woo morning to all. Make it a woo. Yes, indeed. Mike the Marine, Dan Campbell had mentioned the importance of preseason games to develop younger players with live reps. I agree. Yeah, give them some live combat fire. Let them learn from it. Let them develop. Let them take their hits. But I concur with that. Yeah, get them out there and get them in an opportunity to be evaluated and take some of what they've learned from OTAs and preseason training camp and apply it to those games. All right, Brent, does Higgins seem like a fit for the team? Like a fit? Yes. But do I think we can pay him, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams all top flight money? Whew. I mean, it'd be good while you got him. I just don't think you could keep him. If you traded for him, I do wonder if you could only keep him for a season, maybe two. All right, Rocky, good morning, all. Good morning to you, Rock. Let's see, Robert Green, salutations, back at you. Bo, my question about any wide receiver trade is what spot would you put him in? Yes, that would be my answer, Bo. It's just yes. If you have all those weapons, I have no doubt Ben Johnson is going to find a way to use them. Man, can you imagine going trips formation on one side of the field? I can't imagine you're going to be able to play zone against it without it getting shredded. I mean, Goff, while he may have some aspects of the game we may all agree he might not be top at, accuracy and reading the defense post-snap or even pre-snap doesn't seem to be among them. So, yeah, I think he would have a heyday with it. Same with the receivers. All right, Patrick, I hope they don't get rid of the preseason games. I agree with Mike the Marine, Gunny. They are needed for evaluation of, undrafted free agents. Yeah, I think it's going to be a while before they potentially get rid of them. Could they ever get rid of all of them? I guess that's the real debate question. I could see them reducing it to one or two just so they could add another regular season game. So wait and see. All right, Johnny B, what up, Doe? What up, Johnny? Hopefully having a good morning. Uncle Buzz, Kobe Scoresdale, boom or bust. I think he'll be fine. It's just probably like most rookies, especially later round picks, ask him to go out there and start or play significant snaps as a rookie. That's tough on most rookies. So I think he'll show improvement this year, but I've been wrong before. I do trust in Hank Fraley. So if Hank Fraley says he can coach somebody up, then you know what? You're probably going to be able to coach him up. All right, Brent, I like our wide receiver group as is. Yes, it could be that we just go with the ones we have, 100%. Patrick Green, salutations all out there. I hope you are all doing fine. Well, mandatory minicamp is next up for the agenda this week, and we are getting closer to football for real. Yes, and hey, July, middle of July, or I guess latter part of July is when training camp begins. And yeah, it's going to fly on by and be here in no time. Let's see, Berg time. Good morning, Coach. Happy Saturday, 1 week closer. Woo! Good morning to you, Bergs. Thanks for all you do for the channel, and glad you're here on the weekends, my friend, or whenever you can get in. All right, Johnny, for every preseason game that is eliminated, the league should add 4 players to the active roster. My hope is no less than 2 preseason games. I would agree with that. If you can have 2 games, 2 different opportunities to evaluate before you got to make final cuts, that would seem good to me. So good point. Bird time. Good morning, Matt. And good morning, Hoogadoo. Uncle Buzz. Shrinkflation is hitting the show. All right. There you go. All right. Motown Green Sanitations, Coach and Duke Crew. Lions rule, Bears drooled. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Let's see. And yes, I just hit me what you're saying about the shrinkflation. There you go. See, Patrick, Uncle Buzz. Oh no! Exclamation points. It's heading us everywhere. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's hitting us everywhere. Johnny V, no Super Bowl. No, Super Bowl is not a bust. Division championship or bust. I'll go with that. Amy, good morning, Duke Crew. If they get rid of preseason, they need to add another bye week to give the guys a break. What you think? Yes, I agree. If they add any more games to the regular season schedule, I'd be a fan of adding one, maybe even two more bye weeks. Just what these games do to the human body, man, it just can't be imagined for most of us. And you think about what some of the guys, what their bodies look like after a 14-game season, some of the old timers, and I get things have changed, blah, 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 whatever. But now if you're talking about adding an 18th game or a 19th game to that regular season, yeah, you need to give them some time off. And maybe you can work it out where you play 5 games, you get a week off. I don't know. I'll let the schedule makers Scooby-Doo all that, but I'm with you on all that, Amy. I'm all down. Is Hooker down? Question mark. Get it Hooker down anyway. Throwing INTs to undrafted free agents that are practice squad players, or people still calling him to start week 1. He's probably like most rookie quarterbacks when they get into their first OTAs or training camps or whatever. They're just going to have some struggles because to me, one of the most difficult things in all sports, 1, hitting a golf ball accurately, 2, making proper, as an NFL quarterback, pre and post snap reads. It is a tough thing to do. Watching just film studies and watching the difference between the powerhouse college Division I teams and just the average NFL defense is a monumental leap, in my opinion. The difference is that just how much better the defenses are at the NFL level to that. So it makes it tough on quarterbacks, especially ones just getting their feet wet at the game. Yeah, they're going to make some errors. All right, Kurt, what up, though? What up, Kurt? How you doing? Thanks for all you do for the channel, by the way. All right, Motown, what up, Kurt Steele, the man of steel himself? Yes. Hookadoo, good morning, Mr. Berg. There you go. Rando, good morning, all. Johnny V, cash and depth is king, 100%. Rando, oh yeah, little macho man. Rando, what do you got? Wingo is going to surprise us at defensive end and run at defensive rookie of the year. I like that prediction. I hope it comes true. Yeah, he could end up being a real find here. All right, going into, I'll give you guys a little bit of bonus time here. I know I said a half hour, but I'll try to go like another 8 minutes or so. After that, yeah, I got to get moving. Johnny V, let's win games and let the personal stats fall in line where they may. I concur with that. Yeah, just go out there and win. At the end of the day, just win, baby. All right, Chucky Cheese Martin said in an interview that Rita said he wants to help him before he even said hi. Hey, that's awesome of him, man. It's always good when, especially guys are in the same position, fighting for snaps and reps and everything, willing to help each other out. All right, Chucky Cheese, what do you got? He said he wants to be the best to ever play his position. Good for him, man. That's the right attitude to have. Right mentality. Bo, thinking about what it takes to develop a new technique or stop doing something you have done for years. In everything I can remember, it takes 1,000 reps to make a new movement instinctual. Yeah. Boy, I want to say as a coach, or you always try to say 10,000 snaps and you should be able to do it without thinking, but you might be able to do it in less than that. So I get your point though, Bo. It takes a lot and you really got to be diligent on it. Rocky Jameson must turn 20, just turned 23 in March. Yeah. So he's still pretty young, man, and growing. All right, see, Paperback Fan, Green Citations, Duke Crew. Have a great weekend. Same to you, my friend. Make it a great one. All right, Chucky, let's see. If they both get 10 sacks, then they will be winning another of games. Yes, we'll be winning a lot of games if both, what was it? James Houston and Davenport get 10 sacks each. You got to imagine Hutchinson's going to get some, probably a couple other guys. So, yeah, that would be real good for the defense. Johnny B, enjoy your lazy, hazy Saturday. Yes, go enjoy it. Mike the Marine, Jameer Jefferson, yes, he could have a good one. Yeah, Jackson got rid of. That's true. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yes, another one who got. But we haven't let many rookies get out of here before their rookie contracts were done. Johnny and V, yeah, I feel like I just read this one. Sorry about that. Let's see. Morning, coach. I watch every day, but I don't get to chat much. But today work is slow. Gotta love Saturdays. Hey, enjoy it, and thanks for just watching. Thanks for being on here when you can, man. Thank you very much. Ranting Q. What up, peeps? Greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Back at you. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Good morning to you. Michael, morning all. Morning to you, Michael. Phil, did the broken leg end Houston's career? No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, remember, he did get out there in the NFC title game, but it is probably going to be a little sore at times. Could it be possible that they move him to the other side of the field so he puts more of the bear or the weight or the stress on the other leg? It could be, but we'll wait and see. I'm going to think optimistically that he'll be okay, but we'll see. All right, John B., I don't like the fact that division games mean less with more regular season games. More divisional games, times are changing. Yeah, and the all-money dollar powers a lot of things, but it is what it is, man. We'll see what shakes out. Ranting Q, Martin needs the 2 or 3 years, as they mentioned. He is a project. Trust the process. Yes, 100%. Yeah, trust the process. They knew what they were doing by getting him and where he's at. Just like Manu is not probably going to come out there and change the game in his rookie year, maybe not even a second year, but they have a long-term process for both. All right, see, Randy Hugh, what up, though, Kurt? What up? All right, Dr. Fu, what's up, Coach? What's up, Doctor? Hopefully having a good one. Motown, need to check out Hacksaw Jim Duggan and his thumbs. Yep, that attempt the other day was bad. All right, that attempt the other day was bad. All right, fair enough. I'll go with that. All right, let's see. Dr. Fu, some faster than others. Yes, some do learn faster than others. Anthony, good morning. Duke Group, back at you, Anthony. Always good to see you in the chat, and thanks for being here, man. All you do for the channel. All right, Motown, have a great day, Coach. Thanks for always being here for us. Anytime, man. I enjoy it a ton, man, as you guys know that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Like I said, I got a bunch of work stuff I got to do today, so I got to cut out a little earlier. I got to head down to Edwardsburg, Michigan. It's a bit of a drive, so it's not the worst drive in the world, but it is a longer drive. All right, Bo, happy trails to you. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. Agreed. Big Daz, little late today. Good morning, Dan and the fantastic Duke Crew. Well, good morning to you, and thanks for always being here, Big Daz. So, all right, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push for 6,800. And if you would take a second on your day, hit the thumbs up button. Helps the channel out a lot. We try to get each video to 200 to 300 thumbs up. If there is some sort of breaking news later today, once I get back from Edwardsburg, I'll try to get it to you as quick as possible. Other than that, take care, enjoy your day, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.